Now let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to always struggle with money, no matter how hard they work? It's not always the job. It's not always the economy. And it's certainly not the government. No, most of the time, it's the habits. That's right, habits. You see, poverty isn't just a lack of money. It's a pattern, a philosophy, a set of daily decisions that slowly drain your future while you're busy blaming your past. Let me be clear. Wealth is not just earned. It's built, and it's built through discipline. But the same is true for poverty. You can build poverty. One poor decision, one impulse buy, one excuse at a time. In this video, we're going to shine a bright light on 10 destructive habits that keep good people broke, frustrated, and stuck. And then, I'll show you exactly how to break them. We'll talk about why living beyond your means is not just unwise, it's unsustainable, why blaming others steals your power, and why you must trade in your excuses for execution. Because here's the truth. Your life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change. And change begins the moment you decide to confront the habits that are holding you hostage. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels, if you're ready to stop repeating the same mistakes year after year, then lean in. This may be the most financially important 10 minutes you spend this year. Let's get started. Living beyond your means, the poverty of pretending. If your outgo exceeds your income, your upkeep will be your downfall. Let me begin with something plain and simple. You can't build wealth while pretending to be wealthy. Now, I know that's not popular to say, but let's not trade truth for comfort. Far too many people are drowning in debt, not because they're unlucky, but because they're trying to look rich instead of become rich. And that, my friend, is what I call the poverty of pretending. It's when you buy the shoes before the savings. It's when the car costs more than your confidence. It's when the clothes on your back are fancier than the thoughts in your head. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with nice things. I love nice things. But here's the key. Buy them when you can afford them twice. Otherwise, you're building a life of stress, not success. See, here's the great tragedy. We've confused lifestyle with wealth. We think wearing a logo means you've arrived. We think taking vacations on a credit card means you're successful. But I'm here to tell you, real wealth is quiet. It grows in the background. It's not loud, and it doesn't have to prove anything. Here's the truth. If you're spending more than you earn, you're not getting ahead. You're going in reverse. You're working hard to dig a deeper hole and hoping the paycheck will come fast enough to cover the illusion. But illusions fade, and when the credit runs out, so does the pretending. Now let me tell you where the magic begins. Discipline. It starts with a clear decision to stop spending money you don't have, to impress people you don't like, for reasons you don't even remember. It starts with owning your numbers. Yes, all of them. How much you make, how much you spend, and where every dollar is going. Because if you don't respect your money, it will not stay with you. Wealth respects those who steward it, not those who flash it. So what's the antidote to the poverty of pretending? 1. Embrace simplicity while you build strength. You don't need the latest phone. You need the latest mindset. You don't need a better car. You need a better strategy. Be willing to look behind for a while, so you can get ahead forever. 2. Say no to impressing. Say yes to investing. Start putting your money where your future is, not just your image. Trade Starbucks for stocks, Netflix for knowledge. It may not feel exciting at first, but wealth isn't built on excitement. It's built on quiet decisions repeated consistently. 3. Give up the image. Go get the substance. Let your friends rent the lifestyle. You build the life. Let them chase trends. You chase principles. Because in 5 years, those who faked it will still be stuck. And you'll be free. Listen, the world is full of people who are one paycheck away from panic because they never learned this rule. Don't let your lifestyle grow faster than your income. And better yet, let your income grow slower than your wisdom. That's how you build not just money, but margin. Not just image, but integrity. So here's your challenge. Starting today, live beneath your means. Not because you're cheap, not because you're scared, but because you're smart, because you've got a destination. And you're not about to let a $500 handbag or a leased car derail $1 million life. I'll say it again. You can't climb the mountain of success, carrying the luggage of ego. Drop the weight, drop the pretending, and build something real, something that lasts. Because the goal is not to look rich. The goal is to be free. Let's move forward. No budget, no control. The poverty of financial fog. You cannot manage what you do not measure. Let me ask you a question. Would you ever drive a car with no dashboard, no GPS, and no sense of direction? Of course not. You'd crash, or at best you'd end up lost. But here's the crazy thing. That's how most people run their financial life. No plan, no budget, no awareness of where their money is going. They just spend, hope, and pray that it somehow all works out at the end of the month. My friend, hope is not a financial strategy. What happens when you live without a budget? You live in what I call financial fog. You feel busy. You feel like you're working hard. But you look around and you're still broke, still stressed, still wondering where your money went. Let me tell you, it didn't grow legs and walk away. It simply followed your habits. Here's a truth I want you to write down, maybe even frame it on your wall. Every dollar you don't direct has a plan, and it's not yours. If you don't assign your money, it will abandon you. And worse, you won't even realize it's happening. You see, a budget is not a prison. It's a plan. It's not about restriction. It's about direction. It tells your money where to go, instead of wondering where it went. It's how you move from surviving to structuring, from chaos to control. Now let me debunk a myth here. Some people say, Jim, I don't need a budget. I don't make enough money. Let me tell you, that's exactly why you need one. When money is tight, every decision matters even more. If you can manage a little, you'll be trusted with more. But if you mismanage a little, more will never come. The poverty of financial fog is dangerous, because it's not always dramatic, it's not always obvious, it's quiet. Subtle like a slow leak in your tire. You don't notice it until you're stuck on the side of the road. But here's the good news. You can clear the fog starting today. Let me give you a 3-step formula. 1. Track every dollar for 30 days. You can't fix what you won't face. Get a notebook, a spreadsheet, or an app. Write down everything: rent, gas, coffee, streaming subscriptions, snacks, impulse buys. After 30 days, your spending habits will be as clear as daylight. Clarity is power. Vagueness is poverty. 2. Create a simple, values-based budget. A budget is not just numbers. It's a reflection of your priorities. What matters most to you? Security, saving, freedom? Build your budget around your values, not your urges. Split your money into essentials: progress, enjoyment. 3. Review weekly. Adjust monthly. Your budget is a living plan. It moves with life. Review it every week, even if it's just 15 minutes. Make small adjustments. Watch the trends. And here's the key: celebrate progress, not perfection. Now listen, I know budgeting isn't glamorous. It's not going to make your friends applaud, but it's going to give you something far better than applause. Peace, direction, control. Because when you don't know where your money is going, you're not running your finances. Your finances are running you. A man once said, "It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep, and what you do with what you keep." Don't miss that. You can make $10,000 a month and still be broke if you don't manage it. You can make $3,000 a month and still build wealth if you master it. It's not about more, it's about measured. So here's your assignment. Don't let another week go by in the fog. Start today. Track it, budget it, adjust it, own it, because you don't rise to the level of your income. You rise or fall to the level of your system. And your system begins with a budget. Let's keep going. Lottery thinking. The poverty of waiting for rescue. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Let me begin with a hard truth. Nobody is coming to rescue you. Not the lottery, not the government, not your rich uncle, not your boss. And if that unsettles you, good, because it means you're waking up to a powerful truth. Waiting is not a strategy, and hope is not a plan. You see, one of the great enemies of success is lottery thinking. Now, I don't just mean the Powerball or the scratch-offs. Although, let's be honest, too many people are spending their grocery money trying to hit the jackpot. No, I'm talking about the mindset. The belief that one day something magical will happen, and all your problems will vanish. One day I'll get discovered. One day the right person will show up and fund my dream. One day I'll catch my big break. One day my ship will come in. Well, my friend, let me tell you something. If your ship ever comes in, it's going to need a dock, and you better start building one. Because lottery thinking leads to poverty living. Why? Because it trains you to wait, not work. It makes you dependent instead of disciplined. It convinces you that effort is optional, and success is luck. But here's what I've learned over the years. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who prepare. That's the opposite of lottery thinking. That's leadership thinking. That's saying, if it's going to be, it's up to me. Let's break this down. The poverty of waiting. When you're always hoping for a handout, a miracle, or a quick fix, you stop developing the muscles that actually build success. Patience, discipline, consistency, resilience. You don't need a windfall. You need a win every day. You don't need an angel investor. You need to invest in yourself. The wealth of taking ownership. Let me give you the flip side. The people who break free from poverty thinking are the ones who refuse to outsource their future. They say, I may not control the economy, but I control my economy. I may not have a degree, but I can get educated. I may be broke today, but I can build tomorrow. And friend, that's where freedom begins. Not with fantasy, but with focus. How to break lottery thinking. 3 simple shifts. 1. Trade luck for leverage. Stop asking, what if I get lucky? Start asking, what skill can I master that will multiply my value? You don't need luck, you need leverage. And leverage comes from learning. Read the books, take the course, practice the skill, build the mindset. 2. Stop praying for escape. Start planning for growth. There's nothing wrong with prayer, but remember this, God gave you the seed. He expects you to plant it. You can't skip the sowing and expect a harvest. Write your goals, break them into habits. Show up daily. 3. Make progress the new payday. Waiting for a breakthrough can make you blind to the breakthrough that happens every time you choose growth. Did you learn something today? You got paid. Did you say no to a bad habit today? You got paid. Did you invest instead of spend? You got paid. It may not be money in your hand, but it's wealth in your character. And eventually that spills into your bank account. Stop playing the odds. Start playing the long game. You have a better chance of building a business than winning the lottery. A better chance of changing your life by changing your mindset. A better chance of freedom through discipline, not desperation. So if you've been waiting on luck to save you, stop right now. Start preparing. Start planning. Start producing. Because in the real world, you don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for. So build your dock. Your ship's not coming in by magic. It's coming in on the back of your habits, your faith, and your hustle. Let's move on. No growth plan. The poverty of stagnation. Your income rarely exceeds your personal development. Let's be honest. You can't grow your bank account until you grow your mindset. You can't multiply your money if you've neglected your mind. Yet most people are out there chasing the fruit. More income, more opportunity, more success, without ever tending to the root. And here's what I've learned in my own life, and from teaching thousands around the world. Stagnation is poverty in disguise. It's not just standing still. It's slowly sliding backward. Because in life, there is no neutral. You're either growing or you're decaying. You're either sharpening your edge or you're getting dull. And too many people have no plan for personal growth. No book on the nightstand. No mentor in their ear. No new skills being developed. No new ideas being tested. They've been out of school for 10 years, and they stopped learning the day they got the diploma. But here's the catch. School ends. Learning doesn't. The moment you stop growing is the moment you start declining, personally, professionally, and financially. Why stagnation is so dangerous? It's sneaky. It doesn't make a loud entrance. It creeps in quietly, through comfort, through routine, through excuses. You stop stretching. You stop reading. You stop dreaming. You settle. And what happens when you settle? You tolerate things you used to challenge. You stay where you should move. You react to life instead of designing it. You become a version of yourself you barely recognize. Now listen, your future does not improve by chance. It improves by intentional growth. The growth plan that changes everything. You don't need a fancy blueprint. You need a daily rhythm that develops your thinking, sharpens your skill set, and increases your capacity. Let me give you 3 daily disciplines that are simple but powerful. 1. Read 10 pages a day. That's it. Just 10 pages. Not a book a day, not a degree, just 10 pages of something inspiring, instructional, or transformational. Read books on money, character, communication, leadership. Read biographies of great men and women. Learn how they thought. The book you don't read won't help. 10 pages a day equals 300 pages a month. That's a book. 12 books a year, and your entire thinking shifts. 2. Listen to 10 minutes of wisdom. Instead of filling your ears with gossip, noise, or the latest outrage, fill it with value. Listen to podcasts, audiobooks, mentors who challenge you, motivational talks that fuel you. Don't just pass time. Invest it. Make the car a classroom. Turn the gym into a growth center. Let wisdom walk with you. 3. Practice. one new skill. Every 30 days. Skills pay bills, and new skills open new doors. Choose something that makes you more valuable. Communication, marketing, sales, investing, negotiation, leadership, financial literacy. Small progress daily beats big promises someday. You must outgrow the life you've outlived. The reason some people stay stuck, they're trying to use last year's version of themselves to solve this year's challenges. But every new level of life demands a new level of you. So if your finances haven't grown, if your opportunities haven't expanded, if your confidence hasn't deepened, maybe it's not because you're unlucky. Maybe it's because you stopped growing. And friend, that's good news. Because you can start again. You can choose growth, you can choose challenge, and you can design your transformation. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's what I've always said. And I'll say it again. Because when you grow, everything grows with you. Your influence, your income, your options, your life. Final word. If you want to break the cycle of poverty thinking, build a growth plan. Make it simple. Make it daily. Make it non-negotiable. Because wealth doesn't just flow to the lucky. It flows to those who've expanded their capacity to handle it. And that starts with you. Today, let's grow forward. Poor associations, the poverty of the circle. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Let me tell you something that may sting at first, but will serve you for a lifetime. Who you spend time with will either pull you up or drag you down. That's the truth. And your financial future depends on it. You see, poverty is not always about money. Sometimes it's about mindsets, conversations, and associations. If you hang around 5 broke people, chances are you'll become number 6. If your friends spend recklessly, complain daily, and fear every new opportunity, you won't rise above it. You'll adapt to it. Because here's what's important to understand. Environment always wins. You become like the company you keep. Now I know what some people say, Jim, they're just my friends. It doesn't affect me. But I'm here to tell you, yes it does. Because proximity is powerful. Their habits become your habits. Their language becomes your language. Their excuses start to sound like your own. Let me give you an example. If you're around people who always say things like, I can't afford that, that's just for rich folks. Money isn't everything. People like us never get ahead. You might smile politely, but little by little, those words sink in. They program your mind for scarcity. They lower your standards without you even noticing. And soon you're not just hearing poverty, you're thinking it. The hidden cost of poor associations. The cost isn't always immediate. It doesn't always show up as debt or disaster. But it does show up as low ambition, excuse-making, fear of taking risks, settling for less, avoiding responsibility. You start defending your limits instead of pursuing your potential. But here's the good news. You can change your circle, and when you do, you change your ceiling. How to break the poverty of the circle. Now, I'm not saying you should abandon people or act better than others. I'm saying you should be intentional about your inner circle. Let me show you how. 1. Audit your circle. Honestly, ask yourself, who challenges me to grow, who celebrates my wins, and corrects my excuses? Who inspires me to be better, wiser, stronger? And also ask, who drains my energy, who keeps me small, who always plays the victim? You can love people without letting them lead you. 2. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. Get around people who talk ideas, not just gossip. Share solutions, not just problems. Think in terms of legacy, not just survival. Sometimes the best investment you'll make is not in stocks or real estate. It's in relationships that elevate your thinking. You don't need to be the smartest in the room. In fact, you shouldn't be. If you're always the sharpest one in the group, it's time to find a bigger table. 3. Invite accountability into your life. We all need people who tell us the truth, not to tear us down, but to pull us up. A true friend won't let you settle. A true mentor won't let you wander. So find someone who sees more in you and won't stop pushing until you see it too. Remember this, you don't rise to your goals. You rise or fall to the level of your environment. And your environment is shaped by your circle. So build a circle that talks about vision plans for growth, walks in discipline, and expects excellence. Because one powerful association can change everything. It happened for me. It can happen for you. All it takes is the decision to step out of the crowd and step into your calling. Walk with the wise and become wise. Walk with fools and suffer harm. That's not just philosophy. That's your future. Choose wisely. Let's move forward. Blaming the system. the poverty of victimhood. Don't ask for less problems. Ask for more skills. Now listen, if you really want to change your life, you've got to confront this one head on. Blame is a poverty habit, and the longer you hold on to it, the longer you stay stuck. See, it's easy to say, it's the system's fault. It's the government. It's my boss. It's the economy. It's where I come from. It's how I was raised. But here's the truth. The moment you start blaming is the moment you stop building. And you cannot build wealth, progress, or peace with a victim mindset. You just can't. Now let me be clear. I'm not saying life is fair. It's not. I'm not saying you haven't been wronged. Maybe you have, but I am saying this. You don't get to control how the game started, but you do control how you play it now. And blaming the system, blaming your past, blaming the world, it may feel good for a minute, but it will bankrupt your future. The danger of the victim mentality. Let's talk about what really happens when you play the victim. You give up your power. You delay your progress. You excuse your lack of effort. You protect your limitations instead of pursuing your potential. And here's the kicker. Victim thinking doesn't solve anything. It just creates a community of complainers. A circle of people who would rather stay bitter than get better. You've got to rise above that. You've got to say, I'm not waiting for someone to fix my life. I'm taking ownership today. You don't need a rescue. You need responsibility. Responsibility is the price of freedom. You want financial freedom, emotional freedom, the freedom to live life on your own terms. Then it starts with this simple, powerful truth. Everything in my life may not be my fault, but it is my responsibility. And friend, when you accept that, when you own it fully, something shifts inside you. You stop waiting, you stop whining, you stop wasting time, because victims wait to be rescued. But leaders, they build their own ladder. How to break the poverty of victimhood. Let me show you how to climb out of this trap. Step by step. 1. Trade complaining for creating. Instead of saying, this is unfair, ask these, what can I build? What can I learn? What can I improve? Use your energy to construct, not criticize, because every minute you complain is a minute you're not creating solutions. 2. Own your 100%. Now listen, I'm not asking you to own everything, but own your part, your 100%. Own your attitude, own your effort, own your habits, own your money decisions, own the direction of your life. Even if it's a slow turn, that's where the leverage is. 3. Refuse to be a product of circumstance. You can either be a product of your environment, or you can be a force that changes it. History is full of people who came from nothing, poverty, discrimination, hardship, and still rose. Because they didn't accept the label of victim. They adopted the identity of a victor. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need a perfect past to win. You need ownership, discipline, and a decision that says, I will not outsource my success to anyone else. The power shift. Let me tell you what happens when you drop the blame game. You gain energy. You gain clarity. You gain options. Because now you're in the driver's seat. And sure, the road won't be easy. But now you're moving. And movement is momentum. And momentum is magic. Final thought. You can keep telling your story of why you're stuck. Or you can start writing a new story of how you rose. But you can't do both. So the question is, which one will you choose? Let me leave you with this. Excuses make today comfortable. Responsibility makes tomorrow unstoppable. Don't wait for the world to change. You change, and watch the world change with you. Let's keep going. Instant gratification. The poverty of impulse. Let's get right to it. Success requires patience. Poverty feeds on impulse, and in today's world, everything around you is designed to tempt you into living for the now, spending what you haven't earned, eating what you don't need, saying what you shouldn't say, and chasing what gives you pleasure, but robs you of purpose. It's a culture of click, swipe, buy, repeat, and if you're not intentional, you'll trade your future for a feeling. That's called instant gratification. And let me tell you, it's expensive. The poverty trap of impulse. Impulse living keeps you broke, not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It whispers things like, you deserve it. Why wait? Treat yourself. Just this once. But here's the truth. Just this once turns into just like always. And suddenly you're paying interest on things you didn't need. Apologizing for words you didn't mean, missing opportunities because you couldn't delay pleasure for purpose. Now I'm not against enjoyment. I like nice things. I enjoy a good meal. But hear me when I say success is the reward of the disciplined, not the impulsive. Why discipline beats impulse every time? Discipline says not now, because I want more later. Impulse says now, even if it costs me later. And that's the difference between the wealthy and the worn out, between the fulfilled and the frustrated. The person who trains themselves to wait, who practices delayed gratification, is the one who ends up with options, peace, and results. How to break the poverty of impulse? Let me give you some practical steps. These are simple, but they are not easy. That's why they work. 1. Use the 24-hour rule. Anytime you feel the urge to make a big purchase, hit pause. Don't buy in the moment. Don't click add to cart when your emotions are high. Wait 24 hours. If it still makes sense after the emotion settles, then consider it. Emotion makes poor decisions. Time brings clarity. 2. Set clear boundaries for yourself. If you know your weakness is food, create a meal plan. If it's money, set spending limits. If it's social media, set time blocks. Don't rely on willpower in the moment. Build systems that make the decision before the emotion shows up. Discipline is about pre-deciding who you want to be. 3. Reward yourself with purpose, not emotion. The disciplined life is not about denial. It's about strategy. Celebrate progress. Enjoy your wins, but do it intentionally, not impulsively. Buy the jacket after you save $1,000. Take the trip after the debt is gone. Enjoy the moment after you've earned it. That way, it becomes a reward, not a regret. Choose long-term over right now. Here's a powerful truth. You can't have a rich life and a comfort-first lifestyle. One has to go. If you keep choosing what's easy now, life will be hard later. But if you choose what's hard now, life gets easier, richer, and more meaningful down the line. Discipline isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's how you tell the world, I'm in control, not my cravings. And let me tell you, that's where the power is. Final word. You're not just building a bank account. You're building a character, a mindset, a future. So don't let impulse make the decisions that discipline should be making. Because every time you say no to the moment, you say yes to the mission. And those little no's add up to a life of big freedom. So I'll leave you with this. Successful people do what is necessary, not what is easy. Train your mind to wait. Train your habits to hold the line. And watch how fast your life begins to grow. Let's keep moving. No long-term vision. The poverty of the present. Let me ask you something straight. What's your plan for 5 years from now? Not your wish, not your hope, not your fantasy. I mean your actual intentional mapped out vision. Most people don't have one. You know what they have? A habit of surviving today. They wake up, grind through the day, collect a paycheck, and start over. No direction, no destination, just motion without meaning. And that's what I call the poverty of the present. It's when you're so busy dealing with what's urgent that you forget to build what's important. And here's the danger. If you don't design your future, life will hand you a default one. And let me tell you, default futures aren't pretty. They're filled with regret, mediocrity, and missed potential. Why? Because the price of not thinking long-term is paid in pain later. Poverty thinking lives only for today. Let's break this down. Poverty thinking says, I just need to get through the week. Let's worry about that later. I don't have time to plan. I'm trying to survive. But wealth thinking zooms out. It says, where do I want to be in 5 years? What seeds can I plant today that will feed me later? How can I build a life that doesn't require constant escape? Because the successful don't just live in the moment. They live through the moment with the future in mind. Why lack of vision keeps you stuck? Without a long-term vision, here's what happens. You say yes to things that don't align. You spend on things that won't matter next month. You work a job that pays you, but doesn't grow you. You stay around people who waste your time. You drift, instead of design. It's like getting on a ship with no compass, and then wondering why you feel lost. How to break the poverty of the present. Let me show you how to lift your eyes beyond just this week, this paycheck, or this season. 1. Write a 5-year vision that scares you a little, not a vague one. A detailed, vivid, specific one. Where will you live? How much will you earn? What will your days look like? Who will be around you? What habits will define your life? Clarity breeds discipline. Vague dreams produce vague results. 2. Reverse engineer the future. Once you know where you're going, start asking what needs to happen in the next 12 months. What do I need to learn? What habits must I master? What do I need to let go of? Work backward from your dream until it becomes a daily plan. 3. Build a future-focused routine. Every day, Do something that invests in tomorrow. Read something that sharpens your mind. Save or invest something that strengthens your finances. Create something that multiplies your value. Practice something that stretches your skill set. Even if it's just 30 minutes. That's how futures are built in quiet, daily deposits. Stop managing time. Start managing destiny. You don't need another planner. You need a purpose. Because when you lock onto your vision, everything changes. Your decisions become clearer. Your distractions lose their power. Your energy becomes focused. And your excuses dry up. Why? Because you're no longer living for Friday. You're living for freedom. Final word. The poor mindset says, I can't think that far ahead. The wealthy mindset says, I must because my future depends on it. So lift your eyes, write the vision, and run with it. Without vision, people perish. You weren't made to drift. You were made to design. So build your tomorrow, starting today. Let's keep going. Poor health habits, the poverty of energy and vitality. Let me say something that might surprise you. Success is not just mental, it's physical. That's right. Because no matter how big your vision is, no matter how bold your goals are, if you don't have the energy to chase them, you won't go far. See, poor health habits are silent thieves. They don't just rob you of years. They rob you of clarity, consistency, and capacity. You can have the sharpest mind and the strongest desire, but if your body is sluggish, tired, foggy, and inflamed, you'll find yourself quitting early, thinking slowly, and feeling frustrated. Discipline doesn't just belong in your calendar, it belongs in your kitchen, in your gym, and in your sleep schedule. Let's call it what it is. There is a poverty in poor health. It's the poverty of energy, the poverty of clarity, the poverty of showing up less than your best. When health is an afterthought, success becomes a struggle. Here's what most people do. They skip breakfast and run on caffeine. They sit for 10 hours a day and call it productivity. They burn the midnight oil and call it hustle. They numb stress with sugar, junk food, or another drink, and then wonder why their motivation crashes by noon. But you can't burn out the body and still expect the mind to perform. Your brain lives in your body. Your emotions live in your body. And if you don't take care of your engine, you're going to stall out before you even hit momentum. Let me say it plain. Success needs strength, wealth needs energy, growth needs vitality. How to break the poverty of energy? Simple. Daily health habits. Now, I'm not here to preach perfection. I'm not asking you to be a fitness model or live in the gym. I'm asking you to treat your body like it matters, because it does. Let me give you 3 simple practices that will radically improve your energy, focus, and discipline. 1. Hydrate before you hustle. Start your day with 1-2 glasses of water. Not soda, not energy drinks, water. Your brain is over 70% water. Dehydration leads to fatigue, poor concentration, and bad decisions. You can't think clearly when your brain is thirsty. Make hydration your first daily investment. 2. Move every day. Even if it's 20 minutes, you don't need a gym membership. You need a commitment to movement. Walk, stretch, do push-ups. Get your heart rate up. Exercise doesn't just strengthen the body. It sharpens the mind. It releases stress. It builds discipline, and it creates momentum for your day. If you can't control your body, it's hard to control your life. 3. Respect your rest. This one's hard in the hustle culture, but critical. Sleep is not a weakness. It's not laziness, it's a weapon. Your creativity, your memory, your willpower, all of it gets restored in sleep. Stop trading late night scrolling for next day exhaustion. Cut the noise, power down, recharge. You want clarity? Sleep. You want productivity? Sleep. You want long-term success? Prioritize your recovery, mind and body. A wealth partnership. Think of it like this. Your mind is the pilot, but your body is the plane. If your plane is worn out, gummed up, and underfueled, it doesn't matter how brilliant your pilot is, you're not going anywhere. So build both, strengthen both. Because success without health is misery in disguise. And the wealthiest people I know protect their energy like it's gold. Final word. Poor health habits don't just cost you money. They cost you time. They cost you focus. They cost you the joy of showing up as your best self. You don't need a crash diet or a six-pack. You need a plan that keeps you sharp, stable, and energized for your mission. So hydrate, move, rest, nourish, repeat. Because success is not just what you achieve. It's also what you're strong enough to sustain. Discipline your body, and you'll free your future. Let's move to the next level. Excuse making, the poverty of self-deception. Let's wrap this up by confronting one of the most dangerous habits of all. Excuse making. Now hear me. Excuses sound harmless, even reasonable, but they are silent assassins of your potential. They don't come to you wearing warning signs. They come dressed as logic, as valid concerns, as perfectly good reasons. But when you strip them down, you'll find that every excuse you hold on to is a story that protects your comfort and delays your growth. Excuses are lies we tell ourselves to stay the same, and you cannot grow while defending your limits. The poverty of self-deception. Excuse making is not just avoidance, it's self-deception. It's convincing yourself that your situation can't change, so you don't have to. Here's what it sounds like. I don't have the time. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't know how. No one's helping me. The market is bad. I tried before, and it didn't work. These sound logical, but let's call them what they are. Exits, escape routes from responsibility, mental backdoors that let you off the hook. And friend, let me tell you something. You can have excuses, or you can have results, but you can't have both. Why excuses keep you broke? Excuses are dangerous because they block your learning, blame your surroundings, limit your effort, sabotage your future. They convince you to wait instead of work, to blame instead of build, to dream without doing. And that's how people stay in poverty, not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. How to break the poverty of excuses. Let's get practical. You can't fix what you won't face, so let's face it and replace it. 1. Identify your top 3 excuses. Don't hide from them. Write them down. What do you always say when progress gets uncomfortable? I'm not ready. It's not the right time. I don't have the resources. I'm not like them. Call them out, because what you name you can change. 2. Challenge the truth of the excuse. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or is this something I've repeated so often that I stopped questioning it? 99% of the time, the excuse isn't based on fact, it's based on fear. And fear unchecked becomes a habit. Break it, challenge it, flip it. Instead of, I'm not ready, say I'll never be ready if I don't start. Instead of, I don't know how, say I'll figure it out as I go. Instead of, I've failed before, say that's exactly why I'm stronger now. 3. Replace excuses with daily action. Here's the cure for every excuse. Progress. You don't need to fix everything in one day. You just need to do one thing today that your excuses told you not to. Make the call, read the chapter, start the budget, go for the walk, record the video, send the message. Action kills excuses. Every time. Choose empowerment over escape. You're not stuck because you're incapable. You're stuck because you've talked yourself out of it too many times. So let me ask you, what would your life look like if you stopped making excuses? What kind of shape would your body be in? What kind of income would you have? What kind of relationships would you build? What kind of legacy would you leave? Excuses make today comfortable. Discipline makes tomorrow powerful. Trade comfort for clarity. Trade delay for direction. Trade your excuses for execution. Final word. This is the final poverty habit in our journey, but it might be the root of them all, because every bad habit is protected by a good-sounding excuse. And when you tear those excuses down, you uncover your true power. So today, no more waiting, no more blaming, no more lying to yourself. You can change. You can grow. You can build the life you dream of. But it starts when you stop saying why you can't, and start proving why you will. Let's finish strong. You can't fix your finances until you fix your framework. Let me leave you with this final and foundational truth. You don't fix your life by chasing money. You fix your life by changing the framework that produces money, manages money, and multiplies money. Because money is not the root, it's the fruit. And if the roots are unhealthy, your habits, your mindset, your environment, then no matter how much fruit you chase, it'll never last. So don't just try to earn more, don't just try to save more. First, build the framework that supports more. Framework comes before fortune, character before cash, mindset before millions. Let's review what we've uncovered. The 10 poverty habits, living beyond your means. Because pretending is poverty, no budget, no control. Because fog leads to financial failure, lottery thinking. Because hope is not a strategy, no growth plan. Because stagnation is silent death. Poor associations, because your circle is shaping your ceiling. Blaming the system, because responsibility is the gateway to power. Instant gratification, because short-term pleasure creates long-term pain. No long-term vision, because drift is the enemy of destiny. Poor health habits, because energy is your foundation. Excuse making, because nothing changes until you do. These aren't just money habits. These are life philosophies, because your outer world will always reflect your inner world. You can't out-earn a broken mindset. You can't out-hustle poor planning. You can't build wealth on top of chaos, laziness, or fear. You need a new framework. You need a framework of discipline over impulse, vision over comfort, ownership over blame, growth over excuses, long-term purpose over short-term pleasure. That's what the wealthy build. That's why their lives compound while others stay stuck. It's not luck. It's not chance. It's not magic. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And here's the best part. You can begin your new framework today. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need permission. You don't even need a lot of money. You just need to decide that who you've been is not the limit of who you can become, from scarcity to structure. So here's my challenge to you, my friend. Don't just hear these truths, live them. Don't just nod in agreement, act in alignment. Don't just want a new life, design one. Because your finances will never change until your framework does. And when you change the root, you change the fruit. When you change the patterns, you change the future. You don't have to stay broke. You don't have to repeat what your parents did. You don't have to settle for just enough. You can build a framework of wealth,